Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. It's good news. Kicking things off, as we always do on this show, with action figures, and Hasbro just emailed me this morning, me personally. They said that they were responding to my feedback. I can't imagine they would tell anyone else that. And they said that they have decided that they are going to ixnay the plasticless packaging. Yes! That's good news. It is. It's kind of cool. Because also they have said that they're going to start using biodegradable, more eco-friendly plastic in their new packaging. Which is great, because basically Hasbro kind of got boxed into a corner when they said, we're going to stop using plastic because it's bad for the environment. And, you know, we were like, we kind of like plastic, though, to be honest. We don't like the fact that, you know, we have to use it. But, you know, when it comes to impulse purchases or inbox collectors, like, it's actually kind of an essential. And Hasbro were like, oh, really? We didn't think of that. You probably should have, because it's kind of a big thing. So now I think they've realized, like, oh, people don't like these windowless boxes. We're losing sales. Shock horror. So they've decided to go back to plastic, but because they made such a big deal about it being an ethical eco reason and not a money-saving one, I'll let you decide the actual truth behind that. They have to go more eco-friendly, because otherwise it just looks like they're saying, hey, screw the environment, we want to make more money. So that's kind of funny. Hasbro, you played yourself. What do we always say here at Model Behavior? What's the first rule? Don't play yourself. Hasbro, congratulations, you played yourselves. And honestly, that's not a bad thing. Speaking of Hasbro and their packaging, we got two new 2-packs that have been fully revealed and are up for pre-order. First of all, we've got the Hulk and Dr. Bruce Banner 2-pack, which is kind of fun, but that's all I could really say. He ain't cheap, but he ain't insane either. He's $60. I'm glancing down here. Yes, $59.99, which honestly, for a deluxe-sized figure in the Hulk, that would normally be about sort of $30, and then plus Bruce Banner 25. It's still more kind of high end than you would like as far as the prices go, but it is what it is. This Grey Hulk is slightly different to the older Grey Hulk. He has a different torso, different head, so they have done some retooling, but still, you know, it's fine. It's fine. I ain't gonna, you know, harp on about it. A lot of people wanted a Bruce Banner figure, and now you can get one. It's a shame he doesn't have a different head, where you could have like a slightly green, slightly transforming head, maybe some green human hands. Oh my god, the more I think about it, the more that would have been a freaking obvious thing that they could have done, especially to justify quite an expensive price and a 2-pack. You missed the boat there, Hasbro. You know, you should have me in charge of your creative. I would have ixnayed the idea of those windowless packages right at the start. Save you a whole lot of bother. But there you go. I'm just a guy in a room in front of a webcam. And that's it. That's the way I like it, quite frankly. So you can get the Hulk and Dr. Bruce Banner, or you can get Photon and Dr. Doom from Secret Wars. And, you know, when I first saw Dr. Doom, I was like, you know what, this is the weakest figure of their reveals. And I kind of still feel that way. The shiny green plastic, I like metallic kind of looks, but it looks kind of cheap, kind of old and toyish. But again, it's just pictures. Maybe in hand he might actually shine. You wouldn't be able to see him in hand in the box though, of course, because this is one of the older ones. You can see why they're phasing them out now. No one's going to impulse purchase a blank box. Or I don't think so. Don't comment in the comments telling me that you would quite happily impulse purchase a blank box. What is it about it that makes you want to purchase it on an impulse? You've already seen it online and it looks the same and you've decided not to buy it already. So why are you buying it now because you see it in front of you? That don't make no sense. What does make sense though is the design on Photon, who I think actually looks really nice. Monica Rambeau, are they billing her as Photon? I think they are. What does it say here? I didn't write it in my notes. Well done, Dave. But yeah, they look nice too, and they're a little bit cheaper. They're $49.99, works out as $25 each, which is kind of standard. Then again, it is a multi-pack, so technically it should be cheaper, but that's not how Hasbro economics work. Moving on now with a couple of McFarlane pieces, and we got some interesting stuff here. First of all, that they have announced their McFarlane Collection Edition figures, and that's all we know. Very, very cryptic. We don't know what lines this is covering, we don't know what characters, anything, but they're kind of espousing that this will allow the hardcore collectors to complete their collections. That's a bold statement right there. So I have no idea what's planned for this, because also it's not like they are saying, oh well, this is for the more obscure characters, because they make obscure characters and Batman. They make a lot of Batman. Actually, all the obscure characters they make are Batman variants. So maybe they don't make many obscure characters. Regardless, it's going to be interesting to see what this actually involves. So there's that, and also Todd McFarlane got himself in front of the camera in person to reveal and show off, not really reveal, we've kind of seen it, but the Batwing from the Flash movie. Just so you can see the size and the scale and the heft and the girth of this thing. Whew, it does look beautiful. It looks very, very cool. Even if I had it, I don't know where the heck I would put it. You're going to need some space to store this thing. When you think that it fits a 1/12 scale figure, or more than that because it's 7-inch, I don't know. Numbers are hard. But it does look impressive. If you were kind of on the fence about the Batwing, because it is very expensive, and then you saw this video, this might tip you over the edge, because I think it was a good representation of the product. Speaking of representations, sometimes representations get out when they weren't supposed to, such as the new 52 Cyborg Superman. Hoo-ha! This looks pretty freaking amazing. I love the look of this. So these images were leaked by someone who's obviously like, you know, little on the inside of the retail kind of thing there. They were shown on TNI News. That's the source for me for these. And oh my god, I've not seen this version of Cyborg Superman, but he looks mean, nasty, wicked. I love that read your air special claws. Looks so cool. And the whole something about robot cyborgs with like the face but a metal jaw just looks wicked. I loved it when Bastion had it in the X-Men. I loved it when Raiden had it in Metal Gear Revengeance. Still one of the greatest names ever. So yeah, that is a cool looking design. He looks so freaking mean. I wish Spider-Man had like an evil cyborg style Spider-Man type evil cloney robots type thing. That's a missing piece of the Spider-Man rogues. That would be awesome to see that. They kind of did have it in Flipside in 2099, but he only appeared for about one issue. I'm telling you stuff you don't need to know now. Let's go on to the next story. Iconic Studios are giving us a 1/6 scale Ken Masters figure from Street Fighter 2, and wow. At first I thought it was a statue, and then I looked at all the pictures and I was like, no, he's in far too many poses. That would be a lot of swap-outable accessories. Nah. This is a full-on Hot Toys scale Ken Masters statue, and I got to say, I kind of like the look, because they've gone for something that's not quite human, but not Street Fighter 2 cartoony. It's right in the middle, and it's kind of cool. I love Street Fighter 2. I've been very tempted by some of the Jada toys. A lot of you guys in your comments and during the live streams have kind of won me over to the idea of experimenting with these guys, but these 1/6 scale ones, oof. They look really nice. $289 is what he's going to cost. It's going to be available around about the end of this year, so he ain't cheap. When I said he's Hot Toys scale, we're talking Hot Toys prices too, but man, just to have him there and just hear the get some better step, that would be really cool. I think that's the sound he makes when he does the hurricane kick, as opposed to the Hadouken or Shoryuken. I'm a child of the 90s, man. That just does it for me. Going over to Star Wars now, and let me just read off this name here, because I'll get it wrong otherwise. Star Wars Movie Realization Remnant Ashigaru Stormtrooper by Tamashii Nations. Whew, that's kind of a mouthful, but it's part of Tamashii Nations' Shogun-era style redesigns for Star Wars characters. A line that I will never buy a single figure from. You want to know why? Because I know myself. I'll know I'll never be able to stop, because they are beautiful. Crazy beautiful. The Boba Fett, he looks amazing. The Darth Maul, the Darth Vader, they all look so good. maybe I can just get the Boba Fett one. But no, I'm going to resist because they are expensive. They're about Ichiman yen, which is about $100 each. I'm glancing down at my notes. $84 is what it kind of comes out at. But exchange rates, they vary all the time. So this guy is going to be released around about August of this year. And hey, look, if you're building up your Japanese style Star Wars armors, they're going to be some fun additions. I mean, they're not a massive variation from your regular Samurai Stormtroopers, but still, anything in that line, it just looks money, baby. Looks money. Sticking with Star Wars and going back to Hot Toys now. All right, we'll start with the lesser one and then go on to the big one. All right. First of all, they've got a Return of the Jedi C-3PO. It's the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. I didn't realize that, but there you go. Wow, I'm old. So we've got C-3PO with his eye being torn out by little Salacious Crumb, and he's all like, oh my, oh dear. Like, that was when C-3PO was okay. They didn't go too over the top with him. And I was reminded recently about Attack of the Clones with like, oh, I'm quite beside myself. Oh, this really is a drag. I'm like, oh George. At least it won't get any worse than that. Oy. So, Hot Toys, C-3PO, he looks really, really great. That's all I can say. Hot Toys, it does what it says on the tin. The pictures are a fair representation of the actual figure. They look that nice. So I'm going to glance down at my notes and just see if there's any more information. Second or third quarters of next year is when he's going to be available. But he ain't coming alone. Because also celebrating the 40th anniversary of Jedi is Hot Toys Darth Vader. And oh my god. This looks beautiful. Specifically the deluxe version. Because you can't just have a single version. Nah man. This, to quote again one of my favorite wrestlers, do you want to know what gets Daddy Magic's nipples hard? A light up Darth Vader skull head. Holy potatoes. It looks so cool. So cool. And the deluxe version comes with like a gantry as well that you can have him on. 2 different heads, the unmasked version. So the deluxe one has regular Darth Vader helmet, unmasked head, and the light up skeleton electricity head. And then the basic one, I think, just has the regular Darth Vader helmet and the unmasked head. Look, if you're going to spend that much money on a hot toy, you might as well go all in. Speaking of all in, we'll get to that later. But yeah, again, this looks freaking amazing. No idea on price though. Sorry, I can't help you on that. But when I find out, I'll let you know. Sticking with Star Wars, but going over back to Hasbro with the Black Series, we're getting a new Black Krrsantan figure. Black Krrsantan? I'm not even trying to do a bit. Like, that is how you pronounce it, right? I assume so. This is the Black Krrsantan figure that people actually wanted. So the original one that we got was based on the comic books, although barely. They repainted Chewbacca and stuck some cheap armor on him. They were like, oh, it's the comic version. Is it though? Is it? Now we have the Book of Boba Fett version, which is far more in keeping with what this big, hulking, terrifying-looking Wookiee should be. So they've done it right, just, a little bit late to the party. Day late and a buck short, Hasbro. Or maybe a few additional bucks if people are going to double up and buy both. Because that's what I keep telling you. If Hasbro don't do it right the first time, just hold fire. Especially with Star Wars. They're going to do multiple versions eventually. And eventually, they're going to get it right. We're going to get a superior Spider-Man one of these days. Just hold on, all right? And then over in the Vintage series, we've got the Jedi Academy training Luke Skywalker, who's, just very typical Luke Skywalker in his black robes. So, the Black Krrsantan, $34.99, and Luke, $17.99. $34.99, is that right? For the single figure? Are you kidding me, Hasbro? Matt, no wonder Black Series collectors are kind of losing faith in the line. $34.99 for Black Krrsantan. You guys test my patience. Y'all really do. These came out a little while ago, or were revealed a little while ago, but I didn't touch on them back then, but I want to touch on them now, because I just love the look of them. New Dungeons & Dragons figures, and they got this little panther guy, but the one I really want to talk about is the big eyeball monster. He looks amazing. Let me just check the notes to remind myself of the name. Xanathar, the big eyeball dude. I love the design of this. If I was just collecting action figures willy-nilly like I was back in the good old days, I would have to pick him up just as a crazy, awesome, wicked-looking monster. I love it. He could go in Cosmic Legions or Mythic sort of setup, anything like that. Just so cool. I think they really did an amazing job with this creepy, kooky looking creature. That's super, super awesome. Then also we've got the Displacer, which is this panther looking monster thing with tentacles, which apparently are bendy wire as well. Very, very nice. Those two are going to be $49.99 each. Then they've got a new owl bear type figure. And again, just looks super pretty. I like the look of it. I got a lot of time for it. He's going to be $45.99. All right. And then finally, they've got the little dicelings. And I got to say, as far as new products, innovation, unique ideas go, these transforming dice that turn into monsters, the classic monsters of D&D, what a little synergistic match made in heaven. I think that's such a great idea. And especially because they cost not even $20. How much? $14.99 for these things. That's real good, man. I gotta say, I really like what they were doing there. So, yeah, the D&D line, they got some good stuff. Over to NECA now with their TMNT line, and they are teasing another addition to their comic book line with a comic book April O'Neil. Call April O'Neil, and on this case, yeah, you better hurry up. There's no time to waste. We need help like quick on the double half beating on the city. Man is in trouble. Oh, I really want to continue singing, but you would have just clicked off instantly. So don't worry, come back. So they've only revealed just a couple of little teaser images. That's it. But it's nice to know that for those of you who are collecting your Mirage comic book turtles, you're going to get an April to go with them. Gang, if you'd like to support the show, then you know that you can do. You can go on over to patreon.com/displaying-model-behaviour or pick yourself up one of those funky little channel memberships. Ow, I just banged my arm. Unsurprisingly, since there are arms on this chair. What was I saying? Yeah, support the show. Get one of the memberships. You can watch all the exclusive videos. You can watch me hurt myself. It actually really hurt. I'm doing a new series where I do a commentary for every episode of X-Men the Animated Series. It's a good time, and I splice in clips of all the action figures that pop up, and man, just one episode in, and I can tell this show is going to be a banger. Hopefully, I can finish the entire thing, all 5 seasons, before X-Men 97 comes out. It's a tall order, but I think I'm going to enjoy the process. So head on over to patreon.com or get yourself a channel membership, and you can enjoy those videos, along with a whole bunch of other weird, random stuff as I just film my life here in Japan. It's a good time. I want to take you with me. Or if you don't want to toss any bucks my way, you know what? That's okay. We're not made of money. So you can just, click that thumbs up, and that actually really helps the channel a lot. Apparently. It's a mystery how YouTube actually works, but it can't hurt, can it? Super 7 are doing Tron. I was going to be sarcastic there and be like, oh, Super 7 are doing up-to-date things and being cool with the kids. I couldn't get the words out, so let's just talk about the thing, okay? I'm bad at this. They're doing a Tron light cycle. That's all the information I have as well. All this rigmarole for very little. Sometimes on model behavior, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you get a lot of juice from your squeeze. That's what SH Figure Arts are doing. They've squeezed the lemon once, and they're squeezing it again to get some more figure juice. This sounded like a weird analogy. They're re-releasing their Endgame, Iron Man, and Thanos. That's what I was trying to say. But they've tweaked them, and they've upgraded them, and changed the paint, and some of the sculpting, some of the tooling, got some new accessories. So it's nice. If you missed out on them the first time round, you can pick them up second time round. When will this be? Well, I'll tell you when it'll be. It'll be August this year, at least in Japan, and then they'll filter their way out to the rest of the world pretty quickly. So in Japan, Thanos is going to be 12,000 yen, which is about $95, give or take, and Iron Man's going to be about 9,000 yen, which is about $70 here or there. Exchange rates are all over the place, but the figures look pretty. Prices be damned. Super 7 have also shown images of their G.I. Joe Reaction Escape Pack, and this looks cuckoo bananas, silly and bonkers. It's what you would expect. It's the Cobra guys, all in disguises. I guess this must have obviously been from the cartoon. I never really watched the cartoon much as a kid. Sometimes, in a kitsch, adult kind of way, it's fun to see when they go really silly. and really campy. And clearly that's what happened in this episode, where you got Cobra Commander dressed up as a bag lady, but still with his mask, and it's so silly. Destro with his silver head. It's like, guys, you ain't fooling no one, all right? Not with that pile of chrome and steel. So it's something that is definitely more for the hardcore G.I. Joe collector. Because also, I gotta say, like, in the promo photos that Super 7 showed, like, the paintwork actually looked splotchy and not great in the promo photos. Like, dude, you gotta have a little QC control, all right? A little quality control. That's like saying DC Comics, isn't it? Detective Comics. That's a thing. Anyway, yes, there they are. Let's move on. I'm rambling again. I'm sorry. I'm really tired. Storm Collectibles are going back to New Japan Pro Wrestling, having teased a Desperado figure. And I'm always kind of surprised about Storm's choices for New Japan figures. I don't know how these things work, like why they choose some and not others, because Desperado, he's a really great wrestler, but that's, he's not like a big guy. So I'm surprised they don't, have like an Okada or a Tanahashi. Someone's about to tell me, like, they do, Dave. You just don't know about it. I don't think they do. Or a Naito. I mean, come on, like the big three. Regardless, we'll get a El Desperado, and he's got a cool mask. So, that's something. Oh, and you can add him to your Storm Wrestling collection with King and Zangief, and there was another one, but I forget who it was. But you can add him. Mattel have released some packaging images of their Target exclusive He-Man Skeletor figure. This is Skeletor from the New Adventures of He-Man, and I actually really like the redesign. Even as a kid, I didn't like the fact that He-Man was so different, because I'm sure, even as a child, I was a traditionalist. However, I did appreciate that some of the designs were, a bit cooler. He-Man was no longer in his furry pants. Skeletor didn't look like a bodybuilder smurf. There were some improvements. And like the weird, slightly cyber electronic looking Skeletor, I thought that was pretty wicked. So actually, this is a fun looking figure, and he's got some very pretty packaging too. Now, this is one, again, that was kind of revealed ages ago, and I made a note of it and then kept on forgetting to talk about it. Shattered Glass Grimlock. $54.99, available on Hasbro Pulse for pre-order. I love the Shattered Glass concept. You know me, I'm always talking about evil doppelgangers and stuff. I just love it when properties do that. And Grimlock in black and purple color scheme, like, that looks boss, man. Do kids still say boss? Maybe they do. If not, they should start. So I'm thinking actually pairing up him with the Shattered Glass Ultra Magnus, that would look cool. And also, this literally just came into my head because I forgot to make a note of it. Speaking of Transformers and Hasbro did their big Transformers Pulse stream the other day, and they revealed a whole bunch of stuff, which is great. Good for Transformers fans. But the main thing, Dave didn't do his research properly, but what caught my eye was the Nemesis. This looks wicked. They just had a prototype, not completely finished. But the Nemesis is the ship that took the Decepticons to Earth, and now it's like a counterpart to the Ark. We had the Ark a year or so ago that transforms into a giant Transformer. Now we've got the Nemesis, which can also transform into what I guts to say is a badass looking Decepticon Transformer. I love it when a Decepticon has, like, the face looks like the Decepticon logo. There's another one who came out recently that has that gimmick. But having the Nemesis turn into a Transformer bot like that looks really freaking cool, man. Don't know anything about price or nothing yet. I mean, again, they were just showing the prototype. But, I can always be tempted by Transformers, and that thing, it looks really cool. And finally, for action figures, speaking of really cool, Ramen Racer has been fully revealed from Ramen Toys. Ramen Toys, friend of the show. The gentleman pops up in the live stream occasionally. We give him a little shout out because he does good work. I look forward to hopefully catching up with him in person here in Japan quite soon. So that's kind of cool. Not that I have a dog in this race, but I like to report the news about cool things. And the Ramen Racer, it does look pretty freaking cool. So this is not the HasLab Hellcharger. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have price information yet. I don't want to spitball in case I'm off. I mean, it's not going to be cheap because just look at it. You know, you're going to get what you pay for, hopefully. Which, you know, there's a whole lot of car here. It does look real nice. I'm going to follow this project closely because I like independent things. You know. So yeah, stay tuned for more info on that. As soon as I know price and release and all that kind of thing, I'm gonna let you know. But just as a glimpse of kind of what the HasLab should have been, it's an interesting look. I mean, hey, it has a top, middle, and a bottom. What more could you ask for? And folks, that does it for action figures for today. And I'm going to do what I did with the previous video, where I'm going to do the extra news, movies, games, comic books, wrestling, all that stuff, in a second video that's going to come out right after this. So if you want all the extra stuff, then click the next video, because I want to see, like, if, you know, the drop-off is big, or if people like to watch the same thing. I'm curious. Am I just wasting my time with this? I hope not, because I really enjoy doing it. So gang, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Cup of coffee. Big time